seen much of you this week for a reason I will explain later. But nobody's in here right now, so we'll see if I talk about it. So I know people might start over in the live and the replays. So it's been an interesting week for me, mostly medical stuff, given away stuff I didn't plan on. I heard Eric talk the other day, yesterday I think. He came on, he was talking about somebody giving him something in a scenario that was really a nice incident. And I thought about some of the things that I had been through while I was protesting and other things. So I thought it would be nice tonight to talk about some positive things. I don't know exactly what's going on. I've been out of the loop. So there's been something going on. I'll find out later. But so I wanted to do something more positive. Hi, Scooter Mom. Okay, I need to know that I am using my phone as the camera and audio. So I will change that. All right, let's see, audio. How's that? Does that sound better? There was a volume there I could have hit too. Yeah, later on I'm going to have y'all help me with my camera settings. Okay. And my audio. I could have turned that up because what happened is I don't usually look back at my live streams, but I happened to look at one of the ones I did from here, and I didn't realize how bad it looked. It looked really bad. The sound was eh. So I'm trying this to see if we can get the camera to look a bit better. Since it's just us, I'm going to go back to that audio on the camera on the phone, and I'm going to turn it up and tell me which one you think is better. This is the computer mic, and then this is okay. Now this is phone mic, but I turned it up a lot. It might be too loud. I talked a little on purpose. I want to be obviously weirder. Can you hear that any better? Or should I just go back to the laptop? That's my fan. It sounds windy right now. Okay, so that might be because the fan is right on the phone. So I'm going to go back to the laptop. Tell me if this sounds better. Audio. Okay, that's the laptop mid volume, which I normally am. Computer mic is better. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, I can't turn my fan on. And I think I got it on the lowest setting. So, okay. Yeah, and later on, there's some settings I can do on the phone app that I uploaded for using the phone as the webcam that I didn't have. I had no settings available on the computer that I could find. Turn it up. Okay. I didn't even know I could turn it up. I just figured that out too. I don't know how to do any of this stuff. All right, that's 100. Let's go to 148. 150. How's that? Is that too loud? Hi, Mama Duck, by the way. But yeah, that was going to be the title of my stream. Come help me with my settings, but okay. But I changed it. Oh goodness. Maybe you can catch me up. I didn't. Waco. Have I talked to you before? My husband is at work in Waco right now. Ugh. He worked in Austin. See, we live exactly between Austin and Waco. So, like, to the Austin city limits, it's an hour. To Waco, it's an hour to where he works. It's like a couple miles closer. So he stopped about 3.5 so years ago, almost 4. He started working in Waco, and he pretty much drives downtown Waco at night, off and on doing his patrols, because the people he works for owns many properties downtown that he has to go check, or he's watching cameras in the office. So we chatted a few weeks ago. This is my other. Okay, cool. Yeah, it finally cooled off here at night from the hurricane. Oh, I hadn't checked in. Has Cheryl gotten her power back on yet? You know, Scooter Mom? Dusty said, I think it was night before last. I'm not sure. My times are off this week so bad because I haven't been doing that much. Okay, good. How did Miss Sunrise? It was headed towards her in Georgia as a cat too. Man, I didn't realize how many streamers we had in Florida till Dusty started naming them off that were in the path. I hope everybody's okay. Okay, good. And then Dusty, his fence fell down, and I guess he just had leg surgery. And so I'm like, I hope he can get some help putting that up. And he went across to his neighbor and helped. He used his chainsaw to get a branch off his neighbor's car. I'm like, dang. That's one. Sunrise was in Pup's chat today. Okay. She's probably doing okay then. Yes, it's wild how many creators are in the path. It was. I didn't realize, really. It didn't dawn on me, you know. You don't really think in your head how many there are in certain areas. A temp fence, yeah, because he has a dog, so I was thinking, well, he can't just let it go. Okay, yeah, because that looks like involved. He had one of those really nice, what I think nylon type fences, panels. They have like poles, and it didn't look easy to fix. So I hope he's doing okay. Sorry. So if you haven't looked at my community tab, I had a tooth removed yesterday. That feels fine. That's just messing. That's on this side. But this one in the back, that was the one I went in for. And they decided they wanted to do a root canal. All I knew is that I didn't even know which tooth. I am really weird. Can you guys see that? Are you really doing that ritual crap? What do you mean? But am I looking weird? Is it like it's like I don't know how to put it. I'm seeing it weird because it's going to my phone and then to my computer Wi-Fi. I wanted to hardwire it, but it was giving me crap about it. It wouldn't recognize it, so I just went. And we have Spectrum, but we need a new router. This will be the second time we've had to upgrade our router because they change, they get old. Do you support Aaron with that ritual? Oh yes, I forgot to do it. Sorry, I do that for the Dianetics. That's to cleanse the bad juju from reading the Dianetics book. That's what that's for. Oh goodness. So it took him a minute. He even poked on my teeth. Didn't feel it. Then he hit it with the cold. And it was this back bottom one. I was like, oh, there it is. Because it's been painful all the way around and all the way up my temple. And he looked at the x-ray and said he's sending me to another dentist to get the root canal because it's too close to the nerve. So I have to deal with this till next week. And it had been going off and on until today. No Face got an e-bike, pulled it inside for the hurricane. Good. Hit the go button accidentally. No Face has a hole in the kitchen wall. Oh, goodness. I did something like that once. Well, at least your e-bike's okay. I think that's more expensive to repair than a wall. Okay, I don't know what's going on with Aaron. I honestly haven't even been on YouTube much this week. So that must be what everybody's been talking about. So I don't know. I'm okay, I'm gonna have to do some research on that. Because I started Scooter Mom, I started your show part way, and you were just talking about things going on, So no, it's not. It's about good karma. Didn't you read it? Good karma. Have you had any lately? Tell us about positive interactions in your life lately. So, I won't be able to speak on it because I don't know. I don't know. I haven't even watched Aaron. I've been too involved with my pain, and I've been binge watching Eureka, trying to keep my mind off the pain. So I literally have probably the only person that doesn't know what's going on. So I will definitely now. So I need to go watch. Did they all do a stream together? Serge, Nora, and Pearl? But I'll be honest with you, depending on what it is. I don't like to take sides. And if it's an interpersonal thing, I won't. Now, if it's something weird and major, I will definitely do my due diligence and figure out what's going on. So it will depend. Hey, Cinderella. People barging into chats, demanding answers on different topics is not good karma. That's true. Well, I mean, I get that y'all know something that I don't. And I would have probably spoke on it had I known. Seems like the most people that talk about everything are the ones that know the least. Kim, they want you to commit to one side or another. I'm not going to do it. Just because. I mean, if it came out that, somebody was a child predator, that's different. Something like, something criminal, that's different. But if something happened, because I know Nora and Aaron ended their friendship, and I'm still at that time, I was still members to both of their channels because that's something they needed to deal with. But no Face, Scooty McScooter. So that's kind of why I wanted to do this tonight. I knew something was going on because Scooter Mom and DJ and you guys started talking about it. I fell asleep on your stream because I'm taking medications more than usual. So I got the gist that there was something going on. And so I will definitely do my diligence on that. I have been away for 2.5 days. Psych, that's what people keep saying. There's no side. I just asked the question for my own peace of mind, whether or not I want to support you. I'm the kind of person that I don't like conflict, and I like all the people that you mentioned. So like I said, unless it's something like really bad, I won't want to, but I'll find out what's going on. Was curious. I never come in this chat. Yeah, you'll find out. Because I'm over here in Austin and I don't have time to watch everything. And so half the time I don't know what's going on. And when I do talk about it, see, Scooter Mom was doing the same thing I did when the very first drama started way back. I did a live stream, but I kept it vague. It was just, can we move forward? Maybe not. This was way early on. And so you guys were kind of doing the same thing, not trying to name names and just kind of talking about how the community can handle it. That's kind of the stuff that I do. Now I will say this, Aaron's the first streamer I found. He's the one that I watched that got me into this. But I love Nora and Serge too. So, and Pearl's, she's down here with me. So, like I said, well, Scooter Mom, tell me this. Is it something like shocking, criminal, like, oh my God, I can't believe this person did that, I'm done? Or is it just some things that people are disagreeing on? I think I've missed some things here, guys. Oh, and if anybody wants to come on too tell me Cinderella said she had a story. You guys are talking more than usual. I'm used to my chat going slower. Yeah, but so you said that about me. I know the least, but I don't really talk on that stuff very much. I've always been that way. But I tell people this all the time. But I like this one. Yeah, I don't know what's going on either, Papa. But it sounds kind of like a big disagreement if all those people are involved. But no, and Saturday night I try to do, it's for fun. It's just to we've talked about aliens and stuff before. I mean, and not the kind that Scientology talks about. Yeah. I think a lot of people will probably be in that camp. That's kind of the way I feel about it. Like I said, unless I find out, and I said this way early on. I said, unless somebody comes out and they're like, they've been embezzling or they're a child predator in their past. We had a stream about that. And I said, as long as they're still working against Scientology, then I will try to, I will still support them. Because I've gotten emails way back saying I know something about so and so, and I didn't even respond because I figured if it was something truly horrible, I would have got more than I know something. Yeah, yeah. Hi, Ingrid. I haven't even been saying hi. Sorry, you got me in. This is what happens when you bring something in chat. I don't know anything about it. I'm very distracted. So let me go. Hi, Psych. Hi, Mini Minion. And hi, Papa Smurf. Hi, Scooter Mom. Hi, Cinderella. They're all. Hi, No Face. I want to talk about that mini bike. Hi, Ingrid. Yeah, I haven't watched anybody. I will. I will. I'll go find what's going on. Whether I talk on it or not will depend. Oh, me neither. That's what happened to me. I haven't been well either. Yeah. And when it gets to a point, he'll say something. That's kind of the way he does it. Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll accept. I'm gonna write all this down. right now because I will forget. I do. If you don't know me and you haven't been on here before, once I turn that off, if I say I'm going to do something and I didn't write it down, I forget. So Liz Gale, for tonight for Saturday's stream. All right, when did the other ones do a stream together? Pearl and Nora and them. Oh, psych. Now see I might have an issue with that depending. Then again, I'm going to tell you this, until I have facts, I have to be careful because I have been told things that ended up not being quite that way. So I need more facts, or I need to see it and find out what's going on. Yeah, how'd she break her arm? Yeah, that's what's important right there, and that's what's important to me. So yeah, I will listen. Yeah, I will. I will listen to all of it because I won't make an uninformed decision. I won't speak on something with only one side because I do believe there's three sides to every story. And sometimes there's the one side, then there's the other side, and then there's kind of right down the middle of where sometimes it really is. Yeah. Yeah. I only watched her up until I know that her and Aaron how do you say that? Are on the outs. And I'm like, that's fine. If that's what they want to do, I'm still, I still like to watch both of them. Yeah, I'll definitely do that. Hey, Bridge, how are you? Serge did his own. Okay. And Nora did her own. Okay. I actually don't watch Serge that much. And I'll tell you why. And I don't watch all of Nora's. When I do have the time to watch, the channels that have a really good following and stuff, I usually tend to go to the smaller channels. So that's why I sometimes, even when I am watching, I'm kind of out of touch. Okay, Minnie. I will go check it out. But like I said, Pearl did her own. Okay. That's gonna be a lot of watching. That's why I missed it all, because those are kind of fairly normally big channels, and I honestly don't watch them all the time. Yeah. So that's why I like your show, Skitter Mom, and I like Natalie, because they keep us updated on the goings on, but they don't necessarily, those two shows talk about the interpersonal relationships when that's going on. You Scooter Mom, you and Natalie tend to just stay with the highlights and what channels are doing as far as Scientology is concerned. Oh, I just had chicken broth. Yeah, that too. Yeah. I went in there to get a beer. I had one tall boy and my husband drank it. So, and it's been a while, so I don't even know when it was. So anyway, I'll just tell you what's been going on with me. Why I haven't been in Austin or anything this week. Wednesday I had my normal back injections that I have every 4 weeks, and that's fairly normal for me. It's other people think it's a big deal, but I'm used to it. I've been doing it since 2012. Um yeah, but I do want to know. I am going to go find out, but that doesn't mean I'm going to talk about it. So I am going to inform myself. I like to be informed, but that doesn't mean I'm going to talk about it. And see, I used to talk about this because I used to live, Texas is like trailer parks everywhere. Early on, I lived in a tiny trailer park, and I was doing home daycare there. I even babysat the grandson of the owners. It probably had 13 trailers in a neighborhood. And so we didn't even have parking. You had one parallel spot, and that was it. Anyway, it just so happened that 5 of the trailers, I think that included mine, knew each other somehow. 3 of them, they were all soldiers. They were all soldiers in the same unit. Another one was a friend, like a cousin of one of the female soldiers, came to live there. Then she got married and lived next door. So anyway, I wasn't partying with them anymore. I was going to church all the time. I stopped drinking for like 16 years. But everybody always came to me. But I never repeated anything anyone ever said to me. So I knew everything that was going on, but I wasn't in it. I was like on the peripheral. I knew everything, but people came and they just wanted to talk to somebody that wasn't going to run and tell everybody else. And I'm the same way here. Even though I may find out everything that's going on, there's probably a good chance I won't speak on it unless it really upsets me. Yeah, and oh, wrong one. Yeah, I know what you mean. But yeah, I think a lot of people are going to be there. Yeah, if this is true, if something like that is true, that it has something to do with some sort of malfeasance, I don't even know if that's what I want with the foundation. That may be something I have something to say about it. So anyway, Wednesday night, I thought I was going to be able to make it to that open mic night that Austin Org was going to have Wednesday night. I was planning on it. But sometimes when I have my injections, they only use lidocaine, and I get about 12 each side, but they start clear up here at the hairline because I have a nerve right there that pops when I turn my head. It burns. Well, if they put a lot more Novocaine there than usual, literally some of my face goes numb and I can't talk. I sound like somebody who's drunk. So I wasn't able to come, and I was dizzy, and that doesn't always happen. So I ended up not being able to come Wednesday night. At the same time, I started having this toothache. No, not nerve blocks. They're just trigger point injections, and the steroids didn't work. The Botox didn't work. It's just the needling. When I first started in 2012, my doctor was a resident. I ended up following him to a private practice. He would bring people in to watch my injections because you could literally see my muscles jump like this when the knot released, when he stuck the needle in. It's kind of like acupuncture, but deeper. So he goes into the knots. My husband, I'll put a picture up maybe of he marks me before the appointment. So it looks like football plays, all these dots and some X's where the bad spots are and stuff. And then he got from the bottom of my shoulder blade all the way to here and across the top. It works so good. Between my neck injury and my fibromyalgia, it works amazing. And that's why we can only use the lidocaine, because if I use anything else, I can't do it every 4 weeks. So eventually, if I miss, I lose my range of motion in my neck. It just gets so tight. And that's what those are for. I was getting epidurals in my lower back. I did get a nerve block though. So the battery pack to my stimulator is in my back, kind of the lower right side, right around where the kidney is, I think. And when it was healed, one corner was really close to the surface of the skin when it shouldn't be, and it was rubbing, and it was annoying. And so they did a nerve block for that. It worked great. So anyway, Yeah, me too. So then I've had this on and off. So I've had a cracked tooth over here for a long time. I felt a piece of metal come out. My filling fell out and it was cracked in the back. I couldn't chew, but it didn't hurt. And if I accidentally hit it, it would separate a little and I just push it back together. It never hurt. So I kind of ignored that longer than I probably should have. And my fillings I got when I was 17. I'm 55. So they're 38 years old. So that's the second one to just kind of die. So that didn't hurt. And then this side started hurting. It'd come in waves. Sometimes if I chewed, I couldn't tell which tooth it was. It was all the way around, all the way to the front sometimes. So they had to figure out which tooth was bad. Well, the dentist came in, looked at the x-ray and said, there's infection in there. I saw nothing. There was no change of color. He said that dark area. I didn't see anything. But he's a dentist, so he saw whatever. So we knew I was getting antibiotics. They extracted this tooth yesterday. It's healing. It doesn't hurt at all. It's just like, I have to follow all the rules and I have to let it heal. I can't eat certain things and all that. So then they sent me to another dentist that next week I'm getting a root canal on this because I guess it's the way it sits, it's really close to the nerve. And so they do root canals at that dentist, but he wants me to go to this other guy. So this had been off and on. This morning, I woke up. It's been constant today. Constant. And I smiled at my grandbaby. We were FaceTiming, and I smiled real big. And these two teeth, it's the back one, came together, and ugh. So I'm eating like Jello. I'm so tired of Jello. I had some chicken broth a little while ago. I did eat some cheese. I was learning to chew with my front teeth. Yeah, for sure. I went to a different dentist. I was going to Aspen. They are freaking expensive, and they lied. They lied to me early on, and the reason, and that's why my teeth look the way they do. Here's what happened. So we go, and they're like, okay, both of you, your copays for all of this stuff is going to be $5,000 a piece, 10 grand. I'm like, holy crap. Now, like, we can get a loan for you. And trust me, I'm going to put this on YouTube when I'm done with them, because we may have to finish out some certain things with them. And they're like, we can get you a loan. And she said, this is what your payment's going to be, $289. Well, a week or so later, we get a credit card in the mail. And I realized it was Care Credit, if you've ever heard of it. And then I realized recently we paid for things we haven't even had done yet. They made this plan to do the Invisalign and then do implants where they took teeth out. And it's been a year and a half. And we've been paying interest on things we haven't even had done yet. This has just been in the last couple of weeks. I've been stewing about this before this even happened. And before I started protesting, I had the Invisalign. I went up to number 12 out of 17, but my health took a turn. I wasn't able to get in. Time went by. I wore that one as long as I could. It broke. They're not made for more than a few weeks. Well, because all of my teeth were loose, they have all moved. Because it's been like 8 months. This tooth stuck out, but I'm going to show you real quick. None of these teeth were this crooked before. But I have a small mouth, and they have all moved forward. And that's what I was worried about over here. I thought, well, maybe it moved and it was pushing on the nerve. So, yeah, I'm going on. Let's see all this. All of this, except this tooth, is after the Invisalign. That's all new. So, I've been biting my tongue while I'm eating because all of my teeth have shifted. Well, I talked to the new dentist. He's like, Yeah, you're probably going to have to start over. Because I can't even go start the rest of my sets. That's why I never went back. Because I knew that all of this was going on. So, and so I'll probably have to start all that over just to get things right. But yeah, I was very upset. And we're going to go in and talk to billing, because in there also, one of the reasons I didn't go back, I have to have special cleanings, and I get a bill for $1,500, and the only thing I'd had done was a cleaning. And if that's my copay, I'm going to have a fit, because I've had that same cleaning done at another dentist, and my copay was $360. So I would say stay far away from Aspen Dental. Plus, my extraction, my copay was $47 yesterday. I know darn well I paid more than that over at Aspen for it. So, and this guy's in my neighborhood. So we're going to go into Aspen, and if we've prepaid for anything that hasn't been done yet, they're going to refund it. They're going to put that back on my care credit, and then I'm going to get that stuff done at this new dentist that I like really well. So there's what's been going on with my teeth. Because somebody early on was being a troll and said, you need a dentist. I'm like, well, I got one, and that's why my teeth look like this. So yeah, everything's even, because this had gotten straight. This front tooth, I knocked this crooked in 4th grade, running past one of our big metal slides that they don't have anymore. And with the big support, I was turned looking behind me running, and I went like this, literally hit my tooth on the metal. Well, this had gone straight up to when I was into number 12. Now it's not anymore. So, yeah, I'm supposed to have it after the Invisalign got everything straight. I'm scheduled for one. I would have had one implant, but now I'm missing this tooth too. So, God, it's not quite that bad yet. But man, I didn't realize how much I missed food. Yeah. I'm going to finish it though, Papa. You and your song. I might let you come on here and sing it one day. Just to get it out of your system. So, Cinderella, you said you had a good story to tell. Do you want to tell it in chat and I'll read it, or do you want to come on voice or face? We can do any way you want. Because the reason I started this is, if y'all heard Eric yesterday, Eric Rader, it really got me thinking of something happened to him. Warn me so I don't show up. Yeah, I couldn't even drink out of a straw until today. So I'm like, I hadn't had hardly any coffee, cold brew, or anything. Okay, in chat. Go ahead. Tell us your story. I'm curious. I want to do positive stories tonight. I've got one that I told Eric yesterday. Because I'm a Christian, but I believe in karma too. Just in general. Uh-oh. Don't be jinxing nobody, Papa Smurf. Cinderella. My two 16-year-old beautiful granddaughter both have straight A's. 16? Man, I didn't have straight A's at 16. That's awesome. Wow. Is she in the honors program? That was awesome. That's really good. Especially at 16, you're so distracted with everything. I did just enough to pass. I did, because I never thought I would go to college because my family couldn't afford it. I didn't know about financial aid and grants, and I even had a full academic scholarship to a college. Twins. Okay. Both of them, though. That's pretty good. So I didn't try. And then my junior year, I joined the Army Reserves and got some money for college. So my senior year, I quit cosmetology school and did all these college prep classes. Almost failed. No face. Oh, you're going to get that. They are boy crazy. Yeah, and that's what I mean. At 16, are they driving? They're driving, they're boy crazy, and they're getting straight A's? Dang, that's good. Yeah. My husband, he did this, he hated school. Come to find out, he has ADD. When he retired at 41, he started on the ADD meds and was going to college, real college, not the shop class. He was trying to start a degree, getting A's and B's. And he never knew he had it in him. So, but he can't take them anymore. He can't take any of the Ritalin or anything because of his high blood pressure. So now he's a slug again. Yeah, that's pretty cool, Cinderella. Now my oldest grandkid's 12 right now. They're both in middle school right now, and they were doing pretty good. I was really surprised with what they've gone through. God, my daughter's mostly been single, but she's had several long-term relationships. And so they've been through in and out of relationships. Now she's moved them to California. They broke up. They had to live in the same apartment together for like 2 or 3 months because they couldn't get out of the lease. She just moved into her own apartment this weekend, a 1-bedroom with 3 kids, but it's pretty decent size. She's got her bed in part of the living area, and it's a pretty nice size apartment, so they're actually okay. The oldest have bunk beds, but she's going to have, I had to share a room in middle school with my grandmother. Or no, my mom, me, and my sister, because my grandmother took my room. And I hated it. But luckily, by the time I was in high school, she moved out and my mom gave me the room. So I'm going to get on my daughter. When my granddaughter wants to start high school, she better have her own room. Her brother and her are only 10 months apart. So they're really close in age. I have been single 13 years now. Yeah. Well, my daughter has not figured out how to be picky. And she's beautiful. And her last spouse, it wasn't her fault. Oh, there you go. The thing about an army town is people get married quick because you get paid more. You get another $1,100 a month for rent. You get the medical insurance right away. So she got married a little too fast the last time. This guy was a civilian she met here, but he was from Southern California, and they lied to her. His mom has money, and they acted like they were going to help and all this, and they were going to have a baby. She's 31 and she was 30 and had a new baby. But she wanted another one. Gets there and he completely changed. He's only worked full time for a few months. She was working 2 jobs right after the baby was born and working before that. And she's always done that. She's always worked hard. But here she was working 2 part-time jobs and had a 3-bedroom house for $1,200 a month. Now she's in California and has a 1-bedroom apartment for $1,700 a month. It was the cheapest one she could find. And my husband had co-signed for her. So we're all born single. Yeah. I was really only single between 18 and 20 for like a year. So I got married at 20. So, but I did. I mean, it wasn't like people think I met my husband when we were 16 and that was it. I had boyfriends before that. We broke up. We were off and on for a couple of years, and I went and saw what other guys were like, and I was like, no, I know. All the time I was wanting to go back and be with him. So when I got married, I wanted to make sure it was forever, because by then I'd watched my mom be married 3 times. She was actually married and divorced 4 times. And I didn't like it. So I knew that wasn't for me. So I'll tell you what, Eric, if you didn't watch Eric Rader yesterday, he just popped on out of nowhere because something happened to him that he wanted. He had feelings about. He couldn't put into words. And I've been there. I've been where he is. And he said, I don't know exactly. I came in a little late. I didn't hear the whole story. He must have been out doing flyers or he was doing something with the Scientology stuff. And a woman in a wheelchair chased him down, he said, got out of her wheelchair, because, some people can still stand up, and to give him a big bottle of water that had electrolytes, because I guess he was hot, and a hug. And I didn't hear the whole, this was little bits at a time later, so I don't know if there was they said, he was talking? Okay. And he was just really moved by it. And he came on. And I've been thinking about that since yesterday. And I told him, and he said he didn't have any words. And I said, you are putting out good karma in the world, and some of it just came back. And he said he liked what I said. And I told him what happened to me. So back when I had to sit, probably May or June, I think I was sitting on the bench. And this woman came up. She looked possibly homeless. If not homeless, she wasn't doing great. She had a backpack on. She just came up to me, and she had this folded $20 bill. I didn't even know it was a 20. She put it in my hand, smiled, and ran around the corner of the building. I had no chance to even talk to her. And I looked at it, and it was $20. That woman did not look like she could give away $20. And I was just like, I had no words for that. It was pretty awesome. Oh, really? And see, I came in late after he told the story. I'll go back and watch the whole. I should have went back and watched the beginning, and I didn't. I thought I heard it all, but I didn't. That's cool. Hey, Mr. Fraud, how are you? We were talking about things that happened to us, good karma, and not only that, he was. The other thing is, I get that just from supporters and stuff. When somebody gives me some financial support, like a Cash App or something, I sit down and I've thought about it, and that's why I put the thank you in my community tab. I'm not 100%. I have a toothache. I had a tooth extracted yesterday, and I got a root canal next week. So that's why I haven't been out this week. So I wanted to come on, and just because I miss y'all, I miss talking to y'all. And it's just a dull ache. It's not, as long as I don't hit that tooth, it's just, I can deal with it. I hope you guys are doing good. So I'm really moved by it, because I think about, I'm just me. I'm just this person that decided to do something, or got encouraged from another group that was doing something positive and important, and I wanted to be a part of it. I wanted to do something. When I found out they were opening here, I thought, well, I'm feeling better. Let's see if I can do this. And then throughout that time, just to have, oh, he'll be fine. um and I think about it from that perspective a lot, you know. And I think about that about other creators too, about, I hear stuff's going on. Don't bring it up. I don't know the details. But, everybody on here is just another person. They're not a celebrity, or at least in, the group that we're involved in. But, you do only get to see a part of their life. depending on what they want to show you. There's that. But that wasn't where I was going with this. I was mainly talking about me. You know, honestly, if I wasn't doing this, I have no life. I don't have, I had, I got rid of friends years ago because I had this toxic friend that literally I couldn't get her out of my life because I was afraid she'd slice my tires or burn down my house. Finally, she left on her own. I think I had to deal with her for a year. And after that, I was just like, I was done. And I was like, my husband's my best friend. I'm done. But, I sat in this house from 2010 until February of this year in these four walls. So almost 14 years. And now I'm out there going to Austin, protesting. I'm on here talking to you guys. And it's humbling sometimes when you think about that people are willing to come on here and give their time. And I just never expected that to happen. Or yeah. That's why if it comes out that something happened, people have their faults. And it's not going to crush me. I'm not a groupie. I never have been. I've never been one of those people that could be a groupie even for a celebrity. Yeah. Yeah. I know we have a lot of, and what's I've found also is a lot of people that are getting involved, a lot of people that are supporting are in kind of similar circumstances. And I think it just because we have that kind of time. When you're bedridden or homebound or sick and you can't work, you have a little bit of extra time to spend on the YouTube. And that's the only reason, my story, that I could get involved. So, but yeah, it's been even longer than that. I was in my 20s. I think it was 96. She finally left right after Christmas of 96. And I met her at 95. And in 96, right after she left, I joined my church and I stopped, partying. I stopped just all of it. And all my social life was at church for a good long time till I got sick. The kids were in youth group. I eventually was teaching adult Sunday school. So I just honestly, my family was the happiest because we were doing a lot of things together. Wow, that's a good one. Yeah, I heard that on your stream that a lot of people are drawn to this community because they've experienced something that makes them akin to it. And there are channels that talk about that kind of thing, but this is an unusual entity that we have 200 channels all working together for the same thing. I don't know much about YouTube, but I mean, I know that there are people that do collabs that kind of do the same content and this is different. We are literally all working towards the same thing. It is part of a movement. So it's a little different, I think. And I wish somebody would do a story on it because if we could get some journalists, not even about the Scientology part, just to do a story on SBTV and the people involved and how it came about and why we're all doing it. and that we don't have a leader. We're not a group. We're not, we just have a slang name for us, kind of. I want to make that clear. So I just wish somebody would do a story on it. It might get out there and people get more interest. You know what I'm saying? Hi, Sunday. How are you doing? Good to have you. We're just chatting, trying to talk about positive stories that have happened. If you guys have one, shoot that out there. But I'll have to say, obviously in my life, I'm 55. I've had good things happen, a lot of good things. But the karma thing, I didn't never think about. I just lived my life. I worked my job. I had a home daycare. That one was a high stress job. Taking care of somebody else's children is very high stress. And, I didn't think about things like karma and, I'm the kind of person I always try to do the right thing. I don't know. I was that way before the army, but I'm like, you tell me how to do something a certain way, that's how I'm going to do it. I still make L-shaped turns in my car. I don't cut the corner because that's what I was taught in driving school. So I'm just very regimented kind of person. So yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah. And that's, I've been wanting to say something to Pearl. Um, I'm probably going to text her, but she said something when I was talking to Self with Self after the show that I was on with them. We were backstage talking. I don't know if she said this live or not, but she said that she's changing the way that she protests. She knows that it needs to change. But I wanted her to know that even though she had an aggressive, boisterous way to protest, I think in the beginning that wasn't a bad thing. That kind of was needed in the beginning because it drew a lot of attention. If we'd all come in all low key like me, we probably wouldn't have gotten all the attention that we did. So I agree that now we shouldn't be confrontational with the actual Scientologists anymore. But I think early on, that wasn't necessarily a bad thing. That there was a time and a place for that, and it did get the attention. And now we've all worked. We've all got more information. We've talked to survivors, and they've taught us what to say and what not to say. And some people are revising how they're doing it, and I'm like, everybody's realizing that we don't want to get arrested anymore, and to keep that space, because we realized, it had to happen to a couple of us or several of us to realize what Scientology is going to do with that information, what they're going to do with what you're doing. So I guess we had to get a little bit in trouble, even though they don't deserve it in any way, to realize, all right, we need to take that ammunition away from Scientology. Oh, I will check it out. Yeah, that's really good information. So I need to be told, things like this. This is why I want to do a SPTV Hub newsletter type website, not what they're doing on sptv.space. I'll probably link to a lot of that. But I kind of wanted to have a hub where we could be like, okay, this show is this day. We could have, like, if people are having somebody on, we could have an upcoming events or upcoming live streams. So you don't have to go to each person's channel to find out what they're going to be doing and what you want to watch. So like a somewhat of a TV guide type thing, maybe, or any, like, if they're going to have a cruise. Like, I didn't find out about that cruise until it was too late. I don't think I could have went on it, but I might have tried. You never know. So things like just upcoming events, maybe a list of web emails for the channels, or how to get a hold of creators or whatever without having to track everybody down. So, so I just, that kind of stuff is what I want to do, so that, because unless somebody brings it up, I miss things. I miss good interviews. Because we have so many channels now, to be able to find out if there's something going on we want to watch, you have to click into everybody's channel to see what they're doing, and it's just super hard. It's hard for me, and I don't work. I can imagine people who have work and they have a family they have to fix dinner for and put kids to bed and stuff like that. So this would give like kind of a guide to, shows that are going on that they might be interested in. Just, I wouldn't put out like just the people going protesting, like an interview or an event that they're going to go protest or something like that. Right on. Xenu 101. Exactly. And we're learning. That's when you are always on the defense. So, or that's not what I meant. For a while, all we did is react to what they did. And we need to stop reacting after the fact. Like after the guy hit Danny with the scooter, or the guy, got a TRO on DOA for barking at a dog or whatever. Now we need to be more on the thinking beforehand and not letting them dictate what we're going to do. So thanks, Sunday. Well, I didn't do it I actually bought a website literally a couple weeks after SPTV was created, because I had heard how Scientology likes to go buy up domains, and I thought it was going to auto renew, and it didn't. So I don't have it anymore. The offense. Yes. On the offense. We need to be on the offense, and we need to know what we're doing when we go in. I think we've had a good, strong learning period where we've watched, we've learned, we've seen what they can do. And I think we're using that. So it sucks that Pearl's going to court, Selfless has to go to court, DOA has to go to court, and Natalie, but we've learned from it. So it can only make us better protesters, better activists and things. So this stuff is awesome. Yeah, Nancy Drew, I don't understand how they didn't throw it out of court. I just don't. Kelly is doing a calendar for the court cases and protests. Yeah, and see, I'll link to that. Whatever they're doing is great. And that'll just be a link, maybe. But when I wanted to start it last year, I was trying to get Claire Headley involved only because I couldn't do it. What I wanted to do was all the stuff that they're doing on SPD.space, a lot of that. So it was going to be like all of that and what I'm talking about. And I've never made a website. I tried for my craft thing, and I couldn't get pictures on it, and I quit. It's been sitting there for like years, and it says under construction. So I wanted her to, get me in touch with another fan that she knew that was in computer savvy that could help. Well, now that it's going to be way pared down because they're doing so much on the .space, I think I can handle a newsletter type website. I've done newsletters for my church and my Girl Scouts. I know how to do that. So if I make it like a newsletter, and I can have an email that people can send in, that's the only thing I think I would need help, because I can barely answer my own emails. I didn't want to put any more on their plate too. Really? For what? What happened? I haven't been on top of what's going on in LA right now. Don't tell me it's for that other thing. Um, but yeah, that's what's good about that. Her having the court cases and stuff. Uh, that water bucket thing. Sorry, guys. I haven't been able to drink as much as I normally do because I eat a lot of nugget ice. So I go through a gallon of water in the ice maker and then water in my cup. I drink a lot of water. I haven't had much today. I had to wait for it. I can't even drink it cold right now. Moxin. Yeah, I need to know more about that. I don't know about that. Frickin' Moxin. Talk about bad karma. Oh, by the way, some of you that have been here before, does the picture look better? I'm using my phone because I went back and looked at my laptop live streams and I didn't realize how bad the picture was. All dark and stuff. So later on, if somebody wants to give me a few minutes, I want to go. There's adjustments on here that I can make. And I didn't realize, because what I see, I realized isn't what I'm seeing looks great. Then I look on it on my tablet or my phone and it didn't look that good. I didn't think I looked, bad. I thought it was dark and it could have looked better. Because I told you this is, I think, the worst laptop I've ever bought. I didn't really look into it that hard. I knew I wouldn't be using it that much. We just needed it for some things because I do so much on my phone. Oh, God. So, luckily, in 2025, real soon, I have to get a new laptop because this one won't be supported anymore and I can't upgrade it. I don't know how long I'll be staying up. I have to leave at 11:40 for. Oh, really? Have you? Does that really help? I'll talk to you about that offline. Curious about that because I haven't done anything uh, that wasn't pain management in a long time. We were talking about CBD today because I hear it's great for fibromyalgia, but we don't have it medically okay in Texas yet. Okay. I did one nerve block and I won't do them anymore because they actually made it worse. It was a long time ago and I was going all the way to Austin and it made it worse. Mine isn't, most of my pain other than the lower back is pretty manageable. Matter of fact, I got the wrong doctor a couple times ago. I never met him. He's like old. He's old. And he came in. I've never been treated so bad. I left that appointment crying. And it takes a lot to make me like ugly cry because he was so mean, so rude, and so condescending. I was marked like I always am. Nobody was with me. I went by myself. Usually my husband goes. He comes in and he won't do the neck. He's like, well, I'm not doing that. I'm doing down here. And I'm like, but that's where I get it because if you don't, this pops. He's like, well, then maybe we need to do something with the bone. I'm done and left. He said a lot more than that. I'm not going to go into it. So because he didn't do that, my neck for the next month, and I literally only have to move my head this much, like this. That's it. And it will pop and burn all the way up here. And I'm like, the whole reason I'm doing this is I don't want surgery. Duh. I know. Yeah. Uh, they don't, they do at first. Yeah. The first one I ever had up here back in 2005, they were doing it through the ultrasound or something they were looking at. He hit my nerve. This is a brand new doctor. I'd never gotten treatment for my neck before. I didn't know there was treatment. I was 19 when I got hit in the car. So I just lived with that pain from 1988 to 2005. And all my limbs jumped up. And he said, don't do that. Or don't jump up. I'm like, I didn't do that. And it hurt. So I was scared he had to do a set of 3 over like 3 months. So the next one I went to was the nurse practitioner who I always saw after that. I never saw the doctor. He did it and it didn't hurt. And then I knew for 100% he hit my nerve. And I was like, great. So, but now the kind of trigger points I get now, they don't use it. They just do it. You don't need any kind of, it's all in the muscle. So he was an a-hole who had no business being in medicine. Yeah, this guy was the owner of the practice. And he, back when in 2005, there was literally 2 pain management doctors like forever, for miles, because we're an hour from each city. So I think they got a little bit, because they were the only ones in town. And this was the owner and operator of the facility. My doctor, who I adored, who I found in 2012 at the pain management clinic at the hospital. He was a resident. He's like, before that, nobody was helping me with my fibro. Nobody. And he said, oh, I wrote a paper on fibromyalgia. And I was like, the first thing he did was wean me off the heavy narcotics they had me on, which weren't working. Started me on some experimental ones, really, and started doing the trigger point injections really well. And I stayed with him until, so that's 2012. He left a year ago, more than a year ago, and we don't know why. He just was gone, and they wouldn't tell us. They just said it was an emergency. I don't know if it was a family emergency, a medical emergency, or what some of us think. He left ticked off because they were overworking him. They opened up all these clinics that he was having to fly to in Texas and go spend a certain number of days there and fly back. And I think, my personal opinion, if it wasn't something major, like somebody got cancer or something, I think he left because he was being overworked. And really, where does Xenu's protest at? I'm curious. But yeah. Oh, I could go. So I had the best doctor in the world, and I've had the worst doctor in the world. Kansas City. Oh, I've watched that. Okay. So now I gotta go check that one out. I gotta keep a list. I have a list. I left my notebook in my other bag in the car. So we were supposed to be talking about positives. So that's my positive. So I had gone through workers' comp, which I didn't want to, for my shoulder. They had me on ridiculous narcotics for it. I finally got in to see this guy. And he's like, oh, I wrote a paper on it. And it wasn't just that. I've never seen a doctor like this. He never rushed. He would talk to you until you were done about anything and everything. And he was always in a good mood. And so they would come in and say, oh, I'm sorry, he's running a little late. I said, we don't care. If he's giving them the same kind of time he gives us, that's fine. And I have the background you pay for, and you can look up people. And I looked them up, and I think I found him. I think he left pain management. If it's right, he left pain management altogether and is doing something at a hospital um, that doesn't even take my insurance. So I can't even go find him. So that's pretty sad so I don't know. And then, or maybe he left because there was a medical thing with his family and he had to go get a different job that wasn't flying him away from home all the time. Uh, that's good. That she redid it though. That's good. That's dedication to go back and redo it. So has anybody else got a good karma story they want to talk about? I'm trying to think if I have another one just since I've been out there. I'm going to I'm going to put some of this in my mouth. Ooh, I'm back. I could have just stopped the camera. I took myself clear out of the stage. I'm sure I have some, but I can't think of anything. Hey, Cher. Do you have a good karma story in your life? It doesn't have to be just protesting. Um, Finding that doctor, I think, was good karma for me. I needed that. He helped me so much. He helped me gain a bunch of weight. Didn't I weighed 108 pounds when I met him? I was underweight, and he threw like 5 new drugs at me, and I went from 108 to 180 pounds in 16 months. And it's really hard to lose when you're sedentary. I don't eat that much. I'm not a Both times that I gained weight, it wasn't through food. It was medical. And some people don't realize that. I heard somebody say something about somebody being on a scooter who was largish like me. And they're like, well, maybe if they get off the scooter. What they don't realize is when you get injured or you get sick and you can't do the things you do, you gain weight because you can't exercise and you can't do the things that you normally do. I have no lean muscle right now. None. And I've been researching what I need to do for that. Yes, I'm sure. Yep. Scooter mom. Yep. And they don't understand. Those are people that have never dealt with long-term chronic pain or an injury. And if anybody ever says anything to me again, um, somebody said something once and they were young. And I said, you know what? When you're 55 and you've probably had some sort of medical issue or pain or injury, you just remember me. You need to remember me because you know they're going to get it. Everybody does. Oh, of course. I get that all the time. They don't they don't understand invisible illness. You can't see chronic pain. You can't see somebody's injured discs or whatever they might be dealing with. And see, that's why I won't have surgery. Until I am completely incapacitated, I will not have surgery because I've heard way less success stories than I have. They've failed, they've made it worse, everything. I won't do it. Until I can't move anymore or I'm in excruciating pain, I'm not doing it. So I'm not there yet. The pain stimulators help in the lower back. The trigger points are helping the neck and the upper back. And I'm on, all kinds of meds, which I wish I wasn't, but I am. But yeah, as soon as the weather breaks, I'm gonna try to go to the gym. I have that. Oh my god, what's that place called that everybody goes to? It's cheap and purple. Planet Fitness. Or I've got enough space here that I could do Nora's Gen Exercise. So I might just do that to start. I was given the impression I would be walking better and in less pain than I was at the time I was hearing about surgery. That's what they tell you. Yeah. That's why that guy made me mad, because he goes, well, maybe we need to do something with the bone. And I'm like, no, you need to do the right injection so I don't have to. Jerk face. Yeah, that's what they tell us. I don't know. When I had my shoulder injury and I was going all the way, thinking if I went all the way to Austin, I could find a better doctor. Maybe we were just limited here. That was not the case. They literally would rush me in to do this. They were doing a block. It was just numbing it to see where they needed to do it, and it would numb my whole side to find out what was going on in my neck. So I went 3 times. Well, half of their facility was under construction. They literally was caulking the counter while I was standing there checking it. They literally, and they sedated me for that. I don't get sedation anymore. I would wake up and they literally were throwing my clothes at me, trying to get me to get dressed. The second time, I made my husband come back with me. The third time, when he went around to get the car, he tried to come in because he was trying to slow them down because they were rushing me so much. They literally ran him over with their wheelchair trying to get me out the door. I'm not exaggerating. It was like this. It was an assembly line. Everybody was getting the same thing, and they were running. It was a surgical center in Austin, and they were like, and I was like, and rude. So I had to leave my house at 5 a.m. to get there by 8. That's what Austin rush hour traffic is like. So I was in the back waiting. I didn't have anything to do. I closed my eyes. She comes in. She goes, "Are you tired?" I'm like, "I'm bored." She's like, "Well, if you're tired, we can't give you as much sedation." And I'm like, "I don't understand." So she didn't. And I woke up in the middle of it. I woke up and I said, "Is it supposed to hurt this much?" And I fell back to sleep. That's all I remember. Wow, assembly line medicine. It's exactly what it was. Yeah. Oh, I missed something up here. Oh, Eric, we were talking about, yeah, we were talking about you earlier. That's what this show's about, sort of. Um, 2 puppies. Yeah, and that's why I won't do it. Yeah, so I told him about your story. I didn't know the whole story. I came in late. But I kind of got pieces of it. I knew about the water bottle and all that. I didn't know about the Legos. And then I told you about what happened to me. So I thought tonight, because I don't know, I'll tell you right now, I don't know anything that's going on. I've had dental issues this week and have not been on YouTube. Eric, I think you're the only one I watch because I happened to be on my phone and you popped up. I just popped in for a minute and you were having your conversation about what happened to you. And so I don't know anything is going on, but I do know something is going on. So I wanted to do a positive show tonight. Is what we're kind of getting into complaining about medical issues. But if anybody had, I was telling them if they had a good karma story or something. Cinderella's, she has twin 16-year-old granddaughters, and they are both getting all A's. And we were all like, well, that's amazing because you know what you're like when you're 16, and grades is not something you're worried about. So that's pretty good. Um, I told him about that lady that gave me the $20 when I was protesting, who didn't look like she could be giving away $20. Oh, Mr. Fraud, I saw your Lego video. That was really nice. Yeah, somebody told me at the part I missed was they gave you a Lego set. Yeah, sure. It could be strange if it's good. Yeah, I think that's a win because it's hard, and I couldn't imagine being 16 with social media. My daughter had some serious mental issues in middle school, and all they were doing then was texting each other. And the pressure was too. I ended up taking her out of high school and putting her in a private slash homeschool because it was too much. So if you want to come on and tell it or just put it in chat, whichever you want to do. But I got into, Eric, I was talking about, that it's humbling to think that we're out there, we're just us. You know, before this, my life was totally boring. There was nothing interesting going on. And we just go out and we're trying to do what we can, and to have people support us and give us their time and come out and do nice things like that is very humbling, because I never saw that on my radar or expected that in any way. You just wasn't ready for that, I guess. That's something I would possibly do myself. But so that's the kind of thing that you think about when, why would some woman who didn't look like she was doing well herself, maybe I'm making a judgment. She could have been doing just fine, but I see a lot of transient people, and I really didn't think that she just didn't. I don't know. But I don't know why she gave it. I mean, she knew why I was there. She saw my sign. So it was obviously some sort of support for what I was doing. And I just thought that was cool. Maybe she watched. Somebody said maybe she watched me and knew I needed gas or whatever. So that's cool too. If she's ever been in my chat, that's amazing. I don't know. Because she went by quick. Literally, I'm talking to the camera. I'm sitting there. She reached in, handed it to me, smiled. I can't smile right now. Sorry. And then just left. I was like, awesome. Went right in the gas tank. Oh my gosh. How did he do that? Is he still okay now? Because I thought you passed out from that. Or I mean, an aneurysm. I know people that have had them. It really messes you up. Okay. I didn't think I was going to make it this long. Sorry. The heat kind of helps a little bit. How did he do that? I have questions. That's amazing. Tell his dad he's amazing. That guy's got seriously good karma going his way. That's awesome. Oh, let me put it up. I think I did, but read it. So, your daughter's boyfriend's dad is an EMT, was treating a patient having, and he was having his own aneurysm, correct? His heart stopped twice, but made it. When he woke up, he said he heard a voice and swore it was God. Probably was. Well, it's not. I'm a Christian, so I'm going to say this. If you go, it's because he thinks you've done your job and you're done here. If you are still here after that, there's a reason. You weren't ready. It wasn't time for you. So, yeah. So he's definitely was looked out for. If not, and if you're not a Christian, then he's done some really. Being an EMT is a job where you're going to bring a lot of good karma into your life. So, either or. Oh, I've been taking the ibuprofen. It's good for what's Tylenol? I know one's good for swelling, one's good for pain, or you can alternate. I'm on pain meds already and anti-inflammatories, but I've been taking the extra ibuprofen. Where is my ibuprofen? Hello? Where did it go? Hold on. There it is. It's behind. He was relaying this story. We were in line at McDonald's. The car in front of me had a license plate that said God Kid. His dad's name is Alan Kidd. See what I mean? The universe. That is cool. You need definitely sure he's gonna tell his dad about that. That's pretty cool. That's a good story. Yep. EMT has got that's a hard job and they don't get paid much. Here, last I heard, they get paid $10 an hour. And so does security, and that's why my husband drives an hour to make more. Okay, Tylenol is good for pain. Okay, I need to try some Tylenol because I've been taking ibuprofen. It's kind of helping, but I could use some help with that. I'm on Celebrex already. That's an anti-inflammatory. Lyrica, that's for like nerve pain. They don't. My pain meds don't have it. So yeah, I'm gonna go dig out some Tylenol. We've got some somewhere because today's the worst day. It was funny because I had this one extracted. It feels fine. This, and part of the problem is my husband woke me up this morning to take my meds because I was asleep. I woke up like this because you have to sit. I slept here because you have to be elevated. So I took some of these pillows out. I had my bed pillow and I woke up like this. So who knows how long I was laying there pushing on it, making it worse. I think that's why it's been hurting all day. Good night, Eric. Thanks for stopping by. Oh, I'm gonna be awake because I slept as much as possible today. Because I fell back to sleep after my husband woke me up and I didn't take my meds and I regretted that. I wish I could go off mine. I'm on tramadol now. I was on, you wouldn't believe what I was on before for a shoulder injury. For a shoulder. I had no idea. And it screwed me up so bad. And the doctor, the good doctor I told you about, there was a big long word that meant you can have rebound pain when you've been on certain meds too long. And I was in excruciating pain and on a ridiculous, I was on what it was. And I had a boss that was trying to call me an addict because I was on so many meds. I'm like, addicts don't have pills left over at the end of the month, lady. But I couldn't control the patch. I was on 100 micrograms of fentanyl patch, 4 10-milligram Vicodin with the Tylenol or something in it. And I was still at my desk typing and crying from the burning and everything. When it took 2 years for workers' comp to finally say, we're done, we're not going to do you anymore. Because they wouldn't do anything. As soon as my insurance took over and they did an MRI, I have a rotator cuff in here that I hurt. That normally a rotator cuff, it's like a tendon or a muscle. You get a little cut in the middle and they'll put a stitch in it. Mine was cut halfway across and all the way through. So it was like this. And they did another MRI a couple years ago, and they said, that was in 2008, that it's atrophied. So there's not even anything to help try to fix it. Really, in Canada? Wow, they give everybody tramadol down here. My husband and my daughter were going to see the same doctor for similar problems. And I don't take all the medication I'm given. I always have leftovers. I forget or whatever, and that's okay because we try to keep a little bit of a prepper for, like, we had Snowmageddon a few years ago where everything was shut down for a week and you can't go get your prescriptions. So I try to have a few days worth sitting in the back of the medicine linen closet for emergencies. They'll give it if you can pay or your insurance plan covers it. My plan doesn't. Oh, sorry about that. That's the one thing. I tried to get my husband to get out of the Army at 10 years, and he wouldn't do it because he wanted us to be provided for. And he knew he didn't have an education. He couldn't get that good of a job back home. Because one of the reasons we didn't get married sooner is we couldn't afford it. And when he went from the reserves to active duty, he was working a part-time job. I was working a part-time job. And so right after he went active duty, he called me and said, I'm getting leave in 3 weeks. We're getting married. I had a wedding. I wasn't doing no just as a piece. I had a wedding. It was pretty good for 3 weeks notice. And I spent $1,500 was what my mom spent. Actually, it didn't do it to me. I guess because I was taking the amount that I need. It never made me drowsy or tired. But I did some research. There were 2 kind of patches, right? There was this kind that was flat. So it was built into the patch, and they were 3-day patches. So they were time release. But there was one time when I picked up, they were thick and full of gel. Here's the thing. If you sweat too much that gets cut, you can have an overdose. And we think I did. There was a day where I was out. Something was wrong. We don't know what it was. And so after that, I never got the gel-filled patches. I told my pharmacy, this brand only, or that's it. Well, this is why I know it was outrageous. So I was helping a homeless man who was going through the VA and the hospital for cancer treatment. They removed his jaw, rebuilt it with a bone from his leg and metal. He lost like 2/3 of his tongue. And he was only on, well, this was later. This was after the surgery. And he was still sick, and he had a tumor. He ended up, they didn't get it all. And he was having his meds sent to my house. And I looked at it, and it was 20 micrograms. He was getting 20 for a rebuilt jaw and a tumor, and I was getting 100. Yeah, we had 40 people. So my husband in Waco, he's got properties that he's responsible for. And that's the only shift that they only have him. Because during the day they have somebody in the office watching the cameras, and they have a patrol outside. At night, he does that, and then he does patrols all over to all the properties. He has like 100 cameras he has to watch. But they get alarms, and he goes and checks stores, and he has to deal with homeless people a lot. And he tries not to, deal with them if they're not doing anything. He'll leave them be. But if they're on the property and they won't leave, then he did call the cops last night, and he told them, he explained it, and she was bent over. She wouldn't leave. He said she's doing I forget, the fentanyl lean or something. That's what it is. If they're bent over like this and they're like a zombie, that's fentanyl. It does something to their muscles. Like, they can't stand up. They can't hold their body up. It's so sad. But yeah, but yeah. So, and he's taught me a lot on how to deal with people, and he's the same way. He's like, don't let somebody get in a certain space of you. And he was worried about that girl that got behind me the other day. If you guys were watching, and I was like, I was kind of watching her in the camera, but I won't, after this, I'm not letting him get near me. I would be like, look, you're too close, because she was off her meds. We could tell. And he's like, yeah, she looked harmless until she sees a snake coming out of the back of your head and she wants to kill it. I'm like, okay, you're right. That makes sense. So I need to really be careful and not, stuff happens so fast. And she just seemed a little off. And I was like, I tried to get her not to want to be on camera, or I told her where the camera was. I lied because it was pointing at her, and I said, oh, it's on me. And I moved it. So she comes around to be on camera. But yeah, he's like, if somebody's coming, he's like, no, you need to go that way. If they come within a certain space, he's like, that's not good. There's a reason. There's no reason that they need to be in a certain space. But it's different for me because I'm standing there and I'm still. And, we knew people were going to come and, possibly harass us. And it might just be people. I don't think is being sent by the church. I think she's just off her meds and she's just there. I think I hope she gets some help. She doesn't look homeless to me. She looks like she lives somewhere. So, oh yeah. Hey, oh my goodness. I have to think. Yeah, we just did our 35 anniversary. So, cool, Cher. Yeah, he calls me. We were engaged at 16, then we broke up at 18, then we were off and on. We actually weren't even engaged when he called. But I was like, it was always, we were going to get married when. But he called and he says, all right, I'm getting leave in 3 weeks. We're getting married. And I go, okay. He still had the old rings that he bought before. So we already had our rings. Yeah. Yeah. Because the last time I didn't know for sure if she was off or not. She was kind of having kind of a coherent conversation with me, but she sounded like she was, you know, trying to be pro Scientology. So I wasn't sure what was going on at that time. So I kind of argued with her for a little bit. Ooh, look at you, Cher. Look at you. Oh, see, we were the same age until the month later because we're the same age for 6 months, and then he has a birthday and he's older. He was actually the youngest guy I dated. I normally dated older guys, but ugh, and the shortest. But it worked. You guys are still together, right? Ugh, that's that's what I always say. If my husband's probably on here watching me, but I've told him this. I said, I said we're staying together now because I don't have the time to start over and train somebody again. Oh, wrong one. Where'd it go? All right. I probably won't be on here too much longer. My husband still makes me laugh all the time. He's very witty. He comes off with stuff like this, where I'm the one 3 hours later. I'm like, oh, I should have said that. Good night, Scooter Mom. Whew. Well, I slept late, which I'm glad because I didn't have to feel this. But then I did take um since we were talking about meds, Tramadol for me gives me like wakes me up. I've never had anything that really makes me drowsy. So an I took my third dose earlier than usual because I was in so much pain. So I'm awake. It makes me wake up. I try not to take it near bedtime, and I did. So I got a lot of energy right now. Oh, I just wish it would stop. It's driving me. It's just that ache all the time. I would almost, although I take it back. This is actually better than what it was doing. When it would hurt, it would be like this. It would just build and be this huge pain all the way up here, all the way here. This is better. It's more constant, but not as bad. So we'll have it taken care of next week. Well, hopefully the antibiotics, if the antibiotics get the infection down, but dummy me didn't get them picked up yesterday after the appointment. I came home and um so I didn't get them until today. So I should have had them last night but didn't. I was gonna say, what else could we were talking about good karma. You guys don't have more good karma? Let me think. I know I've had other things. Let me think. Let me think. Oh gosh, it's hard. Man, I've had a lot. I know I've got stories that just my brain can't remember them. Oh, wait, I can't even call my hubby because I'm using the phone. It's up there. Whoops. I might have to just hotspot with the other phone next time. Oh, I could call him on the tablet. Hang on. I know he'll remember something. Let's see. Where is it? There it is. Let's see. Oh, wrong person. He'll probably think of something. He has good stories. He has a lot of stories from the army. A lot of stories. Like the dog-sized rats in Panama. And this is from not having lean muscle in my body. Hi. Are you watching me? Were you watching me at all? Yeah. No, I was not. Good, because I was talking about you. Yeah, we were just talking about Cher's been married about the same amount of time as us, and she had a short. Well, actually, she only had 2 days' notice. So we were talking about good karma interactions we have, or good stories, and I know I've had a lot, but I can't think of any. You usually have good stories. He's thinking. Could you guys hear him? Oh. I couldn't call you on the phone because I'm using it as a camera.
Are you online right
now? Yeah.
now?
I said, well, let me call Tom because I can't. I know I've got more stories, but I can't think of anything.
Yeah. For good karma?
Yeah, something, surprising that happened. Something that worked out, that kind of thing.
I know we've had some good blessings.
Well, he just said we've had good blessings. So we've had, okay, now if I look at it like that, oh my gosh, yeah, we have. So yeah, something like that came just in time. There was one time, so Cher said, a client left for Europe today and left $3,000 for 30 days of work. That was good, came in time. That's what I'm talking about. Because, so there was one time we had to fix the car, right? The Mazda, I think, and something else. And we were stretched pretty thin. Being a soldier, you don't get paid a lot. And we were standing in the kitchen opening the mail, and we got a $900 refund from the IRS. It wasn't tax time either, right? This was like middle of the year, right, Tom?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it wasn't like that. And it was like, well, there was a mistake. We made a mistake on your taxes. We owe you $900. And we had to fix our car. And it was exactly the right amount. So we've had things like that happen. That was pretty cool. He's always had a really good sense of like, I don't know what to call it. In church, we'd call it, he's close to the Holy Spirit. He always knows when something is bad. If we're not supposed to do something, he gets a black cloud. That's what he calls it. Like if we went to buy a car and he's like getting a black cloud about it. We don't know what was wrong with that car, or maybe we weren't supposed to spend that money, but we love this car. It was a used car and he was getting a black cloud about it, so we didn't buy it. Stuff like that. Yeah. So yeah, we've had blessings like that, just a lot of blessings out of the clear blue sky like that. It wasn't from a particular person. So I guess I was thinking too much of somebody doing something for me, but there have been just out of the blue good karma blessing type things that we've had quite a few times like that. So like money coming in that we didn't expect when we needed it the most from a weird source like that. Oh, there's when he was first in the military, like the second year he was a private, and his grandmother died, but the grandmother, they lived in the house with them, so they consider that an immediate family member. So it was Army Emergency Relief. We've gotten emergency money from Army Emergency Relief, AER, and the Red Cross a couple times. This was for plane tickets, $1,200 for the three of us. No, four of us. No, Devin wasn't born yet, right? No, it was just three of us to go back for the funeral. And the way it works with both of those entities is you pay it back monthly with no interest. So it was, $100 a month for 12 months. The third month in, we get a letter that we no longer owe for that loan. There was a grant that came in that paid off a bunch of the loans. And $100 a month is a lot when you're private and you have yeah, it's a lot. So, all right, I'm gonna let you. What are you doing?
Sharpening a knife.
Oh, he's in the office right now. I had somebody in here earlier that's in Waco.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think that person's gone now. But I said, yeah, my husband's in Waco right now at work.
Yeah, we went up for the place.
Oh, I told the story about the fentanyl lean last night. We were talking about narcotics and stuff and how that stuff is evil. All right, I'll see you in the morning if I don't talk to you again. I took a third dose of my meds. That's why I'm awake.
Yeah.
So I already mentioned that because it gives me too much energy. So good night.
All right, I love you. Good night.
You hang up. I can't find the button. There it is. Yeah, that kind of reminded me of, yeah, we've had that quite a few times. I'm trying to remember. That was a really big one. Getting money from the IRS you don't expect. That was pretty cool. But we've had that happen a couple times. So try to remember. The point was to try to remember the positive, even though no, I even had it written on my hand and I even found it. Oh, Cher, you're gonna kill me. You know what? I think I was no, actually, I think I was having. Where do I find that at? I'm gonna bring it up right now. Is it on YouTube or where can I find that? I'll watch it. I'll watch it as soon as we're off. I need something to watch. Let me bring it up on my tablet. Where can I find it? I have IMDb on my phone. If you ever want to know where to watch something, like me, I have like Netflix and Hulu, the small package, Freevee and Disney. I have the IMDb app. If you go into IMDb and you put a movie or a show in, it will show you all the places you can stream it. And I use that all the time instead of trying to go find it. Because I do that, because like if you're on Prime Video and it comes up to rent, it might be over here on Netflix or Hulu for free and it won't tell you. Or even on sometimes on Stars or another channel on Prime, it still won't tell you because it wants you to pay for it. So I would suggest downloading the IMDb app, and anytime you're looking for something, you go in there. If there's nothing listed, then it's not streaming anywhere. Or Google. Google's a good one too. But I actually use the IMDb app too, so I'll look at the rating it gets. I watch a lot of B movies. I'll watch a certain level of B movie. I'll go down to almost a 3. But if it's below 3, if it's like 2.5, I'm like, no. And then sometimes I go and they have the user. I don't read critic reviews. Critics don't know nothing. I go to the user reviews. Prime. Okay. Capturing the light. So I'm trying to figure out why I did look it up one day, and I'm trying to figure out why I didn't watch it. There it is. Oh, I put it on the watch list. But okay, it's there. When I log off, I'm going to watch it. Sorry about that. I do. That's why I have to write everything down. It's horrible. And then I make notes and then I lose them. That's why I wrote on my hand that day. Still forgot. I didn't forget to watch it. I did look it up. I put it on the list. But yeah. I didn't think about Googling. Does it really tell you where stuff is streaming? I've had IMDb so long, I don't usually bother doing that. I did get the free link to the Aftermath TV show, but I don't know. I've learned so much from survivors themselves. I don't know how much I want to watch the TV show. I'd rather spend that time watching SPTV. Okay. Well, if I'm ever looking at. Oh, yeah. I may have heard of her. If she's ever told her story on another show, I might recognize her. There's a good chance. We were just talking about that too. Because, people wonder why we only get crashes on our planet and why they're possibly doing abductions and not talking to our government, which that I think they are. Oh. No, I haven't heard of that one, Cher. Okay, I'm definitely going to watch that. And somebody, I don't remember where, if it was in my chat or on a TV show. I don't remember. That's my problem, is I can remember the part of the story itself, but I can never remember who said it, when, or where. It's just the fibro fog in my brain. And somebody said, well, what if they have like a galactic federation, right? And our planet is off limits until we get to a certain level, kind of like in Star Trek First Contact. If you guys have ever watched that, they had a prime directive. Their first prime directive in Star Trek was to never influence lesser cultures. And so if they weren't part of the Federation, if they weren't doing warp speed, they weren't supposed to let them know they existed. Well, I mean, when you're doing it yourself. But then I also used to watch SG-1, Stargate. And in that, the Asgard looked like the Greys that people talk about. And they weren't supposed to contact Earth. Earth wasn't considered ready yet. But, they did anyway by accident. There was an Asgardian that was doing experiments and abducting people that had been kicked out and told to stop his experiments. But he was doing it anyway without permission. So I kind of, that kind of makes a lot of sense if they're out there and if they're coming here. I've always said, though, even though I think it's probable that we're not alone, it scares the crap out of me. And if we have first contact, I hope it's not in my lifetime, because it's a 50-50 chance they're going to be good or bad. They're either going to be this benevolent people, or they're going to want to take us over and use us as slave labor and take all our resources. So it scares the bejesus out of me. I'm not one of those that's like, yay, no, I don't want first contact. They can stay doing what they're doing right now and keeping it quiet. Just keep doing that. Oh gosh. Yeah. There's this woman that goes around and does speeches on getting out of North Korea. It's horrible. It's just horrible. It's horrible that in this day and age we have a place like that. And then they escape into China, and China works with North Korea. They send them back if they get caught. It's really bad. I know many years ago, I heard they had to lower their standards for their height requirement in the military in North Korea because they're so malnourished. They're starting to be shorter. It's kind of hard for me to watch things like that. I mean, I want to watch it to give support. It hurts my heart. I used to watch like the dog rescue. They'd find a really bad dog and help them. I can't even do that anymore. When I see it, I have to scroll by. I watch so much of it. It hurts too much. Even though the ending is usually good. Yeah. I'll watch it. Sounds interesting. It's only 45 minutes. So yeah. I'm not gonna discount everybody that said it. Because here's my thing. People that are like, oh, there's no aliens. That's not happening. I'm like, but we're here. Explain that. Even being a Christian. Because what some people don't realize is the original, before it had been translated a bunch of times, Genesis said somewhere, if I need to find one of them somewhere that it said the Lord or God, I can't remember the exact words, it's been a long time since somebody told me about it. It either was God created or the Lord created worlds, plural. And he was a big being. Why not? And I've also said this because I homeschooled my kids for 2 years. And I taught creation and evolution, but not the evolution of the missing link. Just evolution of everything evolves due to their environment. But we talked about it, and we were trying the science doesn't marry with the Bible. And this was my own personal thought. I've never actually heard anyone else ever say it really, but it was this. There's a lot of metaphors in the Bible, to explain things, a lot of metaphors to make it understandable. So who's to say that God's day was 24 hours? Because it says God created the world in 7 days. Well, who's to say his day was 24 hours? I looked it up. This was just a couple days ago. We were talking about it. The earth is 4.5 billion years old. I divided that by 7. And it came out to 800 and something thousand years. So what's to say that one of his days isn't that long? And it talks in Genesis, it talks about how it's, you had the ether, then you had the land and the waters and the animals. It was in a certain, and I'm really bad at scripture, y'all. Can't memorize nothing. So don't get me on specifics. I'm really bad at it. But if you look at the Big Bang, that's the order that it happens in. So who's to say God didn't use the Big Bang to create, that he didn't create the Big Bang to create our Earth and the planets. Just saying. It's just my thought. I'd love to publish that somewhere and get other, people into that thought. Yeah. The Ancient Aliens show that I watched, there's a guy on there that used to be some like security advisor or something to the prime minister in England. There's still stuff he can't talk about. And he's in there telling us about all these encounters they've had in Britain and all kinds of stuff. I mean, I'm sure there's some of it. There's people that make stuff up. I know there is. But when you get a room full of people that have had experiences, there's going to be a few. You can't discount everybody. And I mean, I've never had any weird encounters myself. Now, one thing, being a Christian, I don't believe in are ghosts. But, and what people don't understand, because I've watched the ghost hunting shows too. What scares me more is, this is the way my husband says it. Because ghosts aren't in the Bible, and we're Christians, ghosts aren't in the Bible. There's no such thing as an unrestful spirit staying here. But there are demons in the Bible, and demons can mimic humans. So I don't believe, I'm not discounting every ghost encounter somebody's had. What I'm saying is it may not be what they think it is. So that's just, again, my opinion. But that's why I can be like about karma. I've read the Dalai Lama, and it doesn't shake my Christian viewpoints at all, because I believe it all can work together. And if God created everything, then there is an energy that connects us all to the plants and the animals and everything. Well, tell me about it, Mr. Fraud. Because I'm not going to discount anything anybody encounters, because I'm not there. And I think there's things in this world that we can't comprehend. Oh, it's hurting all the way down here now. I didn't realize that. Oh, it hurt. Oh. My dad told us that every day at a certain time he'd see someone standing in the hall. We didn't believe him. Hmm. I'll tell you, after this, there's another channel that I used to watch. I haven't watched any of these other channels in a long time because of SPTV. The stuff I used to watch. There's a similar story. And that guy, one night I kept hearing what I thought was my brother counting his damn pennies. So I went to the bathroom, and when I came out, I saw what I thought was my brother standing there. I walked by not thinking anything of it, but then I realized I never saw his face, and what he was wearing wasn't something my brother would wear. Mm-mm. This is going to freak me out. I can already tell. Oh. Oh, it looked like old Civil War clothes. The next day, I told my dad I saw something in the hall. He asked, was he wearing Civil War clothes? And I said yes. He laughed and said, now you do believe me. Wow. Wow. What state do you live in? Just curious. That's freaky. Yeah. See, yeah. I've never had, I still, though, in my room, Arizona. They had some fighting out that way. I think it was, I wasn't sure. I think they had some things happen outside the territory line. I think. I don't know the exact history on that. Unless he came home to Arizona. Well, see, now I'm going with the ghost, but I guess I don't completely discount ghosts, but mm, yeah. Does any of you watch Mr. Ballin? He tells scary stories, and they're not all always true, but you go find his personal story, and that was a demon. And that very well could have been one too. Because, like I said before, they can mimic humans. And I think a lot of people that think, never heard of him, if you like, he retells either scary stories or weird stories, people that have disappeared. He's a storyteller. So that's what he does. And he used to be in the Navy SEALs, I think. He's in the Special Forces. I think he was a Navy SEAL. And he's very successful now. I used to watch him when he only had the YouTube channel. He has a foundation now to help people. I'm not sure. I think it helps soldiers. I'm not sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was a Navy SEAL. And he tells of the story that made him a believer. That was freaky. I don't know. Just, he has a couple different channels now. Just go to the one that's blue. He has like a circle. The one that's, I think, is blue. It's Mr. Ballin, because he has a podcast. He's got shorts that he does. And what creeps me out the most when I listen to him is the pictures that he uses are creepy as hell, because he'll just put pictures in that aren't real pictures from the store. He'll tell you if it's real or not. He'll say, this is a real picture of this real house. If it's not, he'll say it's not real. And then he has this music at the beginning that just unnerves me. But there's this thing about me. I've never seen any weird things in any house I've lived in, but I will not let my foot dangle off the edge of the bed. I think it's a story I heard once. And I think Mr. Ballin retold it, but I had heard it somewhere else before, where they thought the dog was licking their foot and it was somebody under their bed. Like, yeah, it was one of the, I don't know if it was even a true story. It was something I heard along. I cannot do it. I probably couldn't even do it sitting. Yeah, I can't even do it sitting here. It just wigs me out to let my foot go off the edge of the bed. So I'm still a little. Yeah, Ballin is good. He's a good storyteller. He came out with a book now. I really want to get it, but I got to get SPTV gear before I get anything else. I need a SPTV logo shirt and stuff. But yeah. Yeah, Mr. Ballin. Yeah. And there's some that are true that will unnerve the crap out of you. So there was one story where I'm not even gonna tell you. Just go watch his channel. It's if you like scary stories, that man. Whew. And some of them are true, especially the 411 stories. That's actually a documentary called 411 The Missing. This guy put together these stories of missing kids and missing people in state parks and the woods. So a lot of the stories he does retell are true stories. Some aren't, some are. But the way he tells them, he's a really good storyteller. That's why he's so successful. He's like a guy that just started telling stories on YouTube and it just took off. So I listen to his podcast when I don't feel, because he really doesn't use a lot of visuals unless it's like a well-known story where there's a house involved or something. He'll have real pictures, but usually he's just using something he found, like scary pictures. So it's really an easy listening type deal because you don't need the pictures with him at all. But I'm careful because his podcast, if it says a retelling of something from his YouTube, I've already seen all of them, so I can't watch it. So I have to make sure it's an original story. But but yeah, I'm lucky, I guess. I've never had, like my grandmother's house, they built it themselves in the 40s, and we know everybody that's lived there, and nothing really weird's happened. Every place else I lived was a rental. So I never really lived anywhere that was really old. Or, well, this house, but it's not old. Well, it's oldish. How old is this house? Oh, it's almost 30 years old. Yeah, 95. So next year it'll be 30 years old. Needs a paint job and a new roof. We've just been waiting for the sunshine because you can't paint when it's super, super hot. It's so hard to get that sweet spot of when you can paint because in Texas it goes from hot to cold. You have winter and summer. You don't have an in between. And you can only paint during a certain temperature. So it's like here soon, we'll probably have a couple of weeks, as long as it doesn't rain, that we can paint the dang house. I'm going to see if I can hire some neighbor kids to help us out. Because I'm going to put a sign out and say, hey, want to come help us paint? I'll pay you this much. We're pretty generous. Get about 3, because we have middle school and high school kids both get off here, near here. So I think that's the best way to do it. Because if we tried to do it just us, it would take us a week. Doing a little bit every day. I haven't heard that one. I don't remember when was she. Yeah. No face, you're funny. No, 2019. I may have missed any newer stories that he's told. Like I said, I haven't had time to listen. It's been SBTV when I have spare time. But yeah. Yeah, so he tells a lot of true stories, that mysteries that have happened, people that have disappeared. My most interesting story that really I think about a lot was the one in Russia. If you find him, it was in like the 50s or 60s. It was a long time ago. 40s, 50s, 60s. I can't remember. And this group of, high school students were in a club that would go hike and stuff. And this is in the winter time. And they were experienced. And when they found them, they were not wrapped up. Some of them were had hardly any clothes on. None of them survived. And the cut to get out of the tent was from the inside. And they all ran off like something weird major happened that made them run. They found them in different places. One were huddled trying under a tree, and the injuries that they had made no sense. They had some serious like bone injuries, like some big thing hit them hard. Yeah. Up here. Yeah. And everybody has their ideas. I think I think that Russia, I think the military tested something. And I think there was a wave. But, well, that doesn't make sense because the tents. Because I think they said there was some radioactivity in the area. That's the only thing that makes sense to me. That one always bugs me because I've seen a lot of people cover it, and it doesn't make any sense. And the fact that it doesn't make any sense is why I think it was something pretty outrageous. And, well, the tents really weren't standing up that great, but it'd been a while till they found him. Okay. Yeah, I think I am too. We've been on here 2.5 hours. We went 5 hours once before. I don't think we need to go that long. So I'm gonna go watch that documentary right now, share. So you can ask me during Dynex tomorrow. See if I've won. Bye, Cher. Bye, y'all. If you're interested, we're doing Dynetics tomorrow at 3 p.m. Central Time. And we're going to be doing diagnosis because we've gotten into what auditors do. And now we're into diagnosis. Okay. All right. Well, good night, everyone. Hope to see you tomorrow. If not, I'm hoping I can be back out next week. It'll depend on what's going on with this. If the antibiotics work and it doesn't hurt anymore, I'm going to be out protesting. So, y'all have a good rest of your weekend. Good night.